Victims of a former Sussex bishop who's served a jail sentence for multiple cases of sexual abuse say it's sinister and perverse that he is complaining about his treatment by the Church of England and threatening to join the Catholic Church instead. The former Bishop of Lewes, Peter Ball, was jailed in 2015 for historic sex offences against teenagers and young men.
He's now been released, but says he feels wearied by a battering by the Church and wants to be able to worship without constant fear. Sarah Smith has our report.
Over 3 decades, Peter Ball had sexually abused teenagers and young men. Finally, 2 years ago, aged 85, he was jailed. He was released at the beginning of this year. But today, along with his twin brother Michael, with whom he once ran a small religious order, he wrote an email explaining why they would not be sending Christmas cards this year. It said, "The events of the last years, and rightly or wrongly, the battering by the Church have totally wearied and reduced us." The email went on, "We will probably be joining the Roman Catholic Church soon. We love the Church of England, but would like to end our days in a church where we can live and worship in anonymity and without constant fear." Those who represent victims of abuse have little sympathy.
I think it's really quite insidious and worrying when somebody who has a conviction for the sexual abuse of others is referring to themselves in some kind of victim term. The use of fear from who? I know of nobody who is more fearful than the people who suffer sexual and other forms of abuse.
One of Peter Ball's victims, Graham Sawyer, now a vicar, told us today he found the former bishop's complaints of being in constant fear both sinister and perverse, especially when one of those he targeted, Neil Todd, had taken his own life.
Victims certainly feel very strongly still about the crimes that he committed. Of course they do, and we have to remember, of course, that those crimes were actually covered up by senior people in the Church of England over many decades. So the sense of pain and anger felt by victims is still very much there.
His email only adding to it.
Well, Sarah Smith is here in the studio. Sarah, what has the Church had to say?
Well, the Church of England told us that Peter Ball had been banned from ministry for life by them, but that we would need to go to the Catholic Church to talk about him joining them, which of course we did. They said Peter Ball and his brother had been in contact with the diocese where they live near Bristol about becoming members, and they also said this matter is subject to discussions between the Clifton Diocese and the statutory authorities, who are the lead with regards to Peter Ball's risk management in the community. We also had a brief conversation this evening just before we came on air with Bishop Michael Ball, his brother. He reiterated that they were looking to join the Catholic Church, and he said that he felt it would be a better place for them to worship for the rest of their days.
Sarah, thank you.